Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can probably hear by my voice, it's going to be a bit more raspier than usual as I have been unwell. I'm feeling much better now, but apparently my voice could be like this for quite some time. And so I decided to just push through and make a video despite not really liking how I sound right now. My throat is not in any pain, but it just doesn't sound the best. So I do apologize for that. But if you are not bothered by it, then I'm glad you're here with me today. And I'm going to be talking about my top 6 personal finance books that I really love and have been super helpful on my journey to discovering personal finance, figuring out what I should and shouldn't do, and really understanding my mindset around money and finances. Bloody hell. So if you are new around here, then I've got lots of videos on my channel all about all of the tips and tricks and things that I'm doing on my personal finance journey. Basically how I've worked my way to cancelling debt, to consciously spending, and also to consistently invest. So if that is something that you're interested in, then do check out my page and you'll see lots and lots of different videos about all different things that will hopefully pique your interest. So the first book that I want to talk about today is by Dave Ramsey, and it's called The Total Money Makeover. And this actually is where I started my journey. This was the very first book I had ever read on personal finance, and I found it really eye-opening, and it was really helpful for me at the time based on where I was. And that was because I had a lot of debt that I needed to get out of, and this Total Money Makeover really does provide steps that you can work towards to get yourself out of debt. And when you are in the trap of debt, I guess you could say, sometimes you just don't know where to start. It can be very overwhelming. You don't know what the right move is to make. And so if you are in that position, I do highly recommend this book. In this book, he talks about the baby steps, which you may have heard of before. And they are 7 steps that kind of guide you through what you should do first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. And just really helpful for you to figure out, okay, where do I start? And then where do I go next? Now, what I have found and what I have heard lots of people say actually is that this book is really good for people who are starting out and don't know where to start. But what you will maybe find is that the more you learn about personal finance, the more you will start to adapt things to be more fitting to your life. So the first baby step, for instance, which talks about saving at least £1,000 or $1,000, I don't think anyone has any gripes with that. I think you should always have a bare minimum emergency fund. But then as the steps go on, certain things such as paying off your mortgage in total may not be something that everyone wants to do. Personally, for me, that isn't my goal because interest rates are currently so low. It makes more sense for me to pour more money into investing. But again, that's just a personal choice. So yeah, I would say read it if you're starting out, take from it what you like and love, and tweak the things that you think aren't exactly fitting to where you're trying to go. Now, don't get me wrong, there are millions, well, I don't know, millions, there are thousands of people who've stuck to the 7 baby steps of Dave Ramsey and have absolutely transformed their lives financially. And so there's nothing wrong with just following the baby steps. But yeah, I just wanted to point out that I personally have made tweaks, and I know lots of other people have too. So it's totally your prerogative to take what you like and get rid of the rest. I do have a video, actually one of my very first videos that I made on this channel was about the Dave Ramsey baby steps and how you can make them applicable for us here in the UK, as he's speaking from a US perspective. So certain things aren't as relevant, but I did make a video on that and you can check it out in the description box below. The second book that I would recommend is The Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, this book was a money mindset book for me, to really understand what it takes to think like someone who's wealthier versus somebody who's maybe doesn't have as much money or, doesn't have an abundance of resources. What does it take to change that mindset? And it really had me questioning and reflecting and thinking where my money mindset was and where I wanted to get to. And I thought it was such a fantastic book. It's told in a really informative but entertaining way. And as you can tell by the title, the concept is around this boy having a rich dad and a poor dad, and seeing how they handle their life and their personal finances in different ways. It doesn't completely bash the poor dad. There are lessons that, are vital that you can learn from anyone, but it just makes you think and reflect. So this is another book that I think is really, really helpful in order for you to understand where your money mindset is and the types of things that you can do to try and align your mindset to people who are more wealthy. Now, the third book is The Richest Man in Babylon, and this is by George S. Clason. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Another absolutely fantastic book. Now, I will warn you that this book is written in Old English, so it feels quite oldie-woldy, but if you can get past that, I think you're really going to enjoy it. What this book really taught me is that the concepts of building wealth have been here for centuries, and it's not something new. It's something that people knew a long time ago, and it really does make you reflect and think, okay, this has been working. These steps, such as, not living a life in debt, buying your own property, keeping a piece of everything you earn so that you can invest it or save it for the future. These things aren't rocket science. They've been tested since the beginning of time. And it really does make you question why am I not doing it? Or why do I think I need to do it another way? So yeah, I really do recommend this book because, again, it's something that just gets you really thinking and just gets you to align with what it takes to build wealth. If that's what you're trying to do, it helps you to think, okay, what am I doing? And what are the age-old principles behind building wealth? And what's the gap? What do I need to do to bridge that gap? The fourth book that I would recommend is The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. Now, this book is particularly famous in the financial independence or FIRE movement crowd. He's definitely got pretty much everyone on board, and it really is a fantastic book when it comes to learning about investing and what approach you should take, and again, what data has told us history. And although we can't use historical data and historical performance to indicate what may happen in the future in terms of the stock market, it gives us somewhat of an idea. And so J.L. Collins really digs into this. He is a big advocate for Vanguard, as am I. And so I thought it was a great book. It really helped me in terms of thinking about investing. And to be honest, by the time I read this book, I already had my investing strategy in place. But I would say it was a nice reminder that what I'm doing and my approach is pretty much standard, I guess you could say, in some ways. Now, I could very easily just invest in one index fund, for instance. He generally recommends the S&P 500, but for people in the US. But if you are in the UK like me, even though I'm not in the UK right now, then you may look at a global tracker or something else. And he talks about this. He is American and he does come from an American perspective. He talks about things such as 401ks, which aren't relevant to us here in the UK, but you can take what it is you need. And actually, I think I've been told that he has an adaptation. Let me know below in the comments if you know if this is true. Not too sure, don't quote me. But yeah, even if you just read the original book, honestly, you can take what it is that you want. I skipped a few chapters that weren't relevant to me and I just took what I needed. Now, the fifth book is for any of my FI or FIRE movement fans, and this is Choose FI, Your Blueprint to Financial Independence. And there are three authors, but one of them that stands out is Jonathan Mendoza, who wrote this book. And I read this book after I found out about the FIRE movement, decided that I really liked the concepts and the principles behind it, and I wanted to get to know a bit more about personal finance from the FI perspective, and this book is fantastic for that. It talks about the types of tricks that you can do, such as house hacking, in order to reach that FI number quicker, not buying brand new cars, how to cut down your grocery bills, how to make sure you've got enough money for your retirement. It's practical, I would say, and It's just a great book if fire is something that you're interested in, that piques your interest. I really enjoyed the read, but again, it is from a US perspective, and it shows me we just don't have enough UK focused books here that focus on these types of things. So I hope that we can change that in the near future. But again, you take from it what you can and you just adapt it to what we have in the UK. So Roth IRAs, for instance, is an American term and it's their version of an ISA, but actually ISAs and SIPs in the UK are far, far, far more generous and better products than the likes of the Roth IRA. So we're actually in a better position, and investing is actually more appealing for us in the UK than it is in the US. So if you read the Roth IRA and you think, wow, they have so many benefits, we have better ones in the UK. So just adapt it, learn about what we have in the UK, and then try to tweak it to, our circumstances that we personally have. Now, the sixth book, which I just found so inspirational, is The Secrets of Six-Figure Women. And this book is by Barbara Stanny. This one I actually listened to on Audible, and it talks about lots of women who have achieved six figures, which isn't as common as you would hope or you would think. And what do they do to get there? What did it take? What do they find works for them? What do they find doesn't work for them? It's just really, really inspirational. And one thing that I found throughout the book was that people came from all walks of life. Some people did grow up with some form of wealth and were able to achieve six figures, but a lot of women came from virtually nothing financially and were able to build really amazing businesses and were able to get to the place of earning a minimum of six figures. So some of these women are earning millions of dollars per year. Point is six figures. And again, as I said, it's not as common as you would hope and as you would think. And so there are so many great learnings in this. There's a lot about perseverance and resilience. And, as women, we have more barriers than men when it comes to climbing the corporate ladders or maybe developing businesses. And, there's a lot that we have to push through in order to get to places of power or get to places of receiving good remuneration for the work that we do. And if you are a woman or a woman that you want to inspire, I would recommend this book. And in fact, I think I'm going to do a whole separate video about this book, because one thing that I have found on my channel is that my statistics tell me that about 75% of people who watch my channel are men, which is not a problem, and 25% are women. And I think it's because I talk a lot about investing. If I talked about budgeting only or saving, I think I would have more women watch my channel, and that makes me really, really sad. We need to be in investing, us women, the same way that men are. We need the same financial stability as men. We need to get our pensions up to be matched with men. We need to get our stocks and shares, ISAs, to be up to be matched with men, or our Roth IRAs or whatever else. And the data tells us that is not the case. And so I really need to try to push to get more women talking and feeling comfortable about investing. So that is what I'm going to work on in the next coming months. Just to say, I appreciate you men who are here. I really want you guys to stick around, but I also want to get more women on board with this. And I'm sure you can see just how important it is to make sure that us women are right along with you. So that's it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, I really do apologize for my voice, but I hope you've been able to push through and listen anyway. I will have a few different type of videos coming up in the coming weeks. I am not in the UK for some weeks, so my content will be slightly different. But I will be doing my Vanguard portfolio updates. I will be doing my side hustle portfolio updates, but I will be sprinkling in a few extra bits. So make sure you are subscribed if you are interested in seeing what's to come. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video real soon.